Well, I'm going to introduce someone that doesn't need an introduction, someone that's worked diligently for Alaska for many, many, many years, a friend of mine, a friend of my family's, Senator Lisa Murkowski.
Okay, everybody, this is the wrap up to the wrap up. You've all been sitting here for a while, and maybe everybody needs to stretch, or maybe you just need to say, "Oh, thank goodness, this is the last person on the agenda," and then we get to go outside. It's a beautiful day out there. It is good to be back. I've been visiting with some friends in the back there, and Nick and Peter. And Marie, I'm sorry, I didn't listen to the panel, so really bad, so I'm not going to be able to dovetail off of your comments and make really smart and brilliant commentary about that, because I was bemoaning with my friends about my awful schedule. And I'll look at my chief of staff and blame it on you, but it's all me. I am not taking the time that I need to get out on the river and fish. And so for those of you who have your fish stories and are going to show me all the pictures on your phone, can you just wait like a week until maybe I can get something on a line or shoot a bird or do something that's good for my soul. So I'll be much better after I do that. But it is good to be back in Kenai. It's great to be in this facility. To the people of Kenai Soldotna Kenai, congratulations on you for really bringing it all home as a community. This really underscores what it means when the community comes together and says this is a priority for us. So well done. I was asked to, in addition to kind of being the wrap up here, to also reflect on the Kenai River Sport Fishing Association, reflect on CRISA, which is really easy for me to do because I feel like I've lived so much of the origins of the Kenai River Sport Fishing Association, just through my husband, through the relationships that we built with so many friends here on the river. Bob Penny, of course, was legendary in his role as he facilitated CRISA, and not only the kind of the incorporation of the mission, but really what it meant for a community to come around, to come underneath an organization to say, we want this to be a priority of our community. And so the focus, the mission on what we do for habitat, on what we do to build infrastructure, on what we do to provide for public access, for education, for the health of the river itself, it really does wrap up and involve so much of community. So I want to acknowledge those that have carried on this pretty incredible mission now for 41 years. Shannon Martin and I were talking earlier. Shannon's doing a great job for you there. You've got a strong board. It's nice to see Juna Penny as chair. Again, the benefactors, those that come together, those of you that will be participating in the Classic this weekend, what you do to help support that mission is really part of the Kenai's success. We talk about the Kenai as being this crown jewel of recreational fishing in this state. And again, I don't want to go down the road of what you all enjoyed in July while I was back in Washington, D.C., and it was hot and it was bothersome. And every now and again, you just kind of want to escape to your friends' social medias just to see what they're doing, and every single one of them has massive strings of sockeye. I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm so happy for them. I really am. I really am, because what this is about, this is not just about fish in your freezer. This is about a culture. This is what we do as Alaskans. Our summer defines us by really our fishing. It's our fishing, it's our hiking, but it's so much of it is around what happens. And it's here on this peninsula, and it's here particularly on the Kenai. And I hope that you take stock of what that means, because you're entrusted with a great responsibility. And I think that's what Krissa recognized so many decades ago, that yes, this is a crown jewel, yes, this is a bountiful river, but we can't ever take for granted that it will continue to be that bounty. And believe me, I have Walter reminding me that every time I'm in my office in Washington, D.C. For those of you who've not been to my office or who were not in my boat in 2006 when I was on the river with Mike as my guide, and I don't remember the other gentlemen that I was fishing with because they didn't matter. The one that mattered was Walter, my 63-pound king salmon that I hauled out of the river. Beautiful, chrome, gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Best fish I've ever caught. Smart for me, it was not larger than Ted Stevens' massive king that he hauled out, not on that same trip. But it was important for me because, again, it was a reminder of this extraordinary bounty that comes from this river, and that fish that is now mounted and in my conference room is a reminder that those fish don't come back. Those fish are not there if we do not take care, if we do not focus on our role as stewards and the responsibility that brings. And so it's about conservation, it's about habitat, it's about infrastructure. It's also about the people who use this river. And this is, again, an area where I'm going to give a shout out to Krissa, because in addition to using funds wisely to make investments here, you are making investments in the future. The Kenai River Kids Classic that was started so many years ago, and I was really honored to be able to be part of that discussion at the Penny's house, where talking about the Kenai Classic and how great that was, but how important it is to make sure that young kids are exposed to this river. And we look around and we say, everybody knows how to fish, we're Alaskans. But the idea that we could introduce kids to not only the joy of fishing, but the responsibility of management of a fisheries, that is a great story that continues to keep on giving. And so to know that just a couple weeks ago, maybe just a week ago now, there were 100 kids that came down from the military bases that get put out on a river, that are introduced to fishing. Maybe the fishing wasn't so good for them, but they learned so much. And it's that exposure, again, that is so important. So there's a lot of things going on in the environment that is out there. And when I say the environment, I don't necessarily mean the natural environment, but the political environment that has implications on what we're trying to do here, not only on the Kenai, but with regards to our fisheries more broadly. We've all been following the petition that was filed by the Seattle-based group Wild Fish Conservancy. And in their petition, what they ask for is to list, quote, list one or more evolutionary significant units of Chinook salmon in the state of Alaska as a threatened or endangered species under the Endangered Species Act, and to designate critical habitat. Well, that petition didn't go anywhere. And then in May of this year, the Wild Fish Conservancy filed a lawsuit against NOAA and what they said you had failed to meet essential legal deadlines under the ESA and delaying federal protections to at-risk Alaskan Chinook salmon. I raise this because in addition to everything else that our fisheries are faced with, when you think about changes in climate and predators and the threats that we are seeing across the environment, you also have the political environment that is presenting challenges in ways that I think many of us might not have anticipated. And so we are sitting and waiting. We expect NOAA's ruling to come sometime next spring. But I'm looking at this action, the possibility or the potential for others following that. And I can't think of a situation that would be a bigger mistake for us and for the fish than to move forward to have a listing. All you need to do is look at Washington State. You look at other species. ESA listings are just not the way that you protect and you sustain salmon. I don't think we want the listing. I don't think we need it. I think we've got a better model for it. And I think the model that you can look to is what we see here on the Kenai, which is a rebuilding, protecting stocks, protecting the habitat, and we're seeing that it's working. I was talking with Eldon about the numbers that we're seeing with the kings that are slowly returning. It is an effort, but we are seeing some changes. And then you look at the sockeyes, and again, you don't need to go further than people's Instagrams. But it's really extraordinary as we're seeing not only the fish coming in, but how it's impacting the economy here, how it's impacting the guides that rely on our rivers, what it means for those tourists who are booking their trips. They used to come up in earlier summer for the kings. We're now seeing them later. But you're seeing people that are leaving happy. They've got a smile on their face because they've got fish that they're going to be eating. So we know that this is hard. It is a hard and a challenging time. And so making sure that we are aware of the landscape at all levels, environmentally, politically, and economically. I'm going to wrap my comments because you all need to get out in the sun, and I want you to know that the delegation that you have back in Washington, D.C. is really very keenly focused on all of our fisheries and the health of all of our fisheries. You know, you've got Congressman Begich here today, Senator Sullivan. I told him he was going to get weathered out of ADAC. I said, I'm coming to the Kenai, and I'll cover for you here at the round table. I said, but you're going to get weathered out. And of course, he got weathered out, so he is coming later. But I think it's fair to say you have a very united delegation when it comes to making sure that we're attending to the ways that we can not only look to the health of the fisheries, but all that goes with them. Everything that it means for community projects here in the region and across the state to support our fisheries. All that we can do to improve our waterways. And so it's everything from making sure that we're funding the fisheries surveys, not only adequately, but in numbers that are going to be meaningful. It's making sure that our regional fisheries management councils and our fisheries commissions are funded, that ADF&G and its partners are supported as they're doing their work to understand not only the marine but also the freshwater life stages of the Pacific salmon, and then what we do to support the Pacific Coastal Salmon Recovery Fund. We've got a lot that goes on within our appropriations. We're working right now through our FY26 appropriations bills. We've got good funding, solid funding for habitat conservation programs. We've got, again, support for the Pacific Salmon Treaty. People might not think about it, but wildfires have impact on our fisheries in ways that relate to again, the health of our waters and our streams. And so making sure that we are dealing with wildfire mitigation, the funding that we provide for salmon-related research and conservation. So there's a lot that happens at the federal level to support what goes on here at the state and the community level. But I'm hopeful again, that when we think about what organizations like the Kenai River Sport Fishery Association do, not just to fulfill their mission, but to broaden it out to not only those who are blessed to call this place home, but those who choose to come here for that 10-day or 2-week vacation, the people who choose to be here for a period of time, and who look at this as just an extraordinary gift that comes from the Kenai River. I can't look at my friend Meryl Sikorsky without thinking about the Caring for the Kenai and the contest that goes on every year where you engage young people in the region to just do projects, write stories about what they can do for this river, for this community, and for the blessings that it continues to give. So it takes a community. You're doing a great job, and if we had time, I would suggest that we all get out on the river. We'd be late for the reception, but it might be worth it. So we'll see you out there. Thanks so much.